welcome to another episode, season 2, episode 7, I believe, of Chillin with the Girls. Oh my goodness, we got our buddy back here. John Watts, Sister Elder, Pastor, Reverend, Bishop,
activist.
John Watts, the point man of Baltimore, of South Baltimore. Why do we say that? John Watts has supported over 200 families with turkeys and food for Thanksgiving, over 500 families with toys for Christmas, supporting 300 new and gently used coats for winter. He supported several families with new baby supplies. Woo, isn't that awesome?
Wow. Yeah.
He partners with local and national organizations. One was We, Our, Us. I remember that. Safe Streets, a couple of them, just to name a few. He leads South Baltimore's violent reduction program. Like, he's very effective in the community, guys. He established a Young Black Scholar Institute, which mentors teens and gives leadership training programs for Black males. And he will be hosting strengthening family programs at his church to support families with struggling with their children. Welcome to our show.
Again.
That's right. This one of our favorite guests.
Yes.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. Thank you. I've just you made me drop my phone because I was like, "What's she talking about? Is that me?" So yeah, it is me. Wow.
Good.
Amazing. Wow.
John, talk about the point man of South Baltimore. How did you get that name?
Well, of course, from the last conversation and the conversation that we had before, I think it was the pandemic, that really made it necessary. Some people saw it as a devil thing. I saw it as a God thing.
Me too.
Definitely, he was working strategically, and I know this to be true, and I'm not going to spiritualize too much, but he was definitely at work, and that's when I feel like I came into myself. I came into Pastor John Watts. Like, it was during that time. I thought I was pastoring, and but no, I really came into the pastorate, and it wasn't just my members only, but it was community. It was people across the street from my church that I didn't even personally have relationships with, but it was during that time, and it was through, guess what, Mother Farmer? It was through the book of Acts, and people don't even know the importance of food. Food is very important. And food has always been a tradition in African American culture, but in culture, period. Like, it was through food that connected me to my neighbors.
You know what? You are so right. You can solve so many problems around the table. So many issues are solved. Business meetings around the food table.
And that is a part of one of my programs, but it was through food, connection of food, where people started calling me pastor and saying that I was their pastor. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
And even having an interview with one of the people from my community, and they was trying to get this lady to join their ministry, and she said, no, I'm already part of ministry. I'm part of Pastor Watts' ministry.
Wow.
And from her saying that, I was interviewed by that particular church because they really wanted her. And so they wanted to know who Pastor Watts was and how influenced her, and it was through giving, food resource, And from that, and so to circle around, if I could, I would say Young Black Scholars for last, but through strengthening families, and thank God, and I hope that you all you would meet Pastor Cheryl Menendez, who's a great inspiration to me. Pastor Menendez, hats off to Restoration Community Development and Light of the World Ministries. She had a program through University of Maryland, SAMHSA-based program called Strengthening Families. And I'm trying to think how I got involved in it. She wanted to have it at my church. That's what it was. She wanted to have it at my church. And I was like, sure. I went through the program 3 times. And it's called Strengthening Families.
Right.
Went through the program 3 times. And she taught the class along with a bilingual facilitator. And sorry, are you there?
Yes.
And I went to the class with my wife and my kids. Second time I went through it with my wife, my kids, my mother, and all of my sisters.
Wow.
And my aunt.
Okay.
And my aunt. And my nephew. And of course, all the other members of the church. It was great. Then I went through it again the 3rd time because at that time I really wanted, I was like, this is life changing. This is, we found out that how dysfunctional we were as, not only as a race of people, you know, and going through slavery, enslavement, going through historical things, you know, and having to be like our grandparents, which was generational stuff, you know, and then also being a part of a family dynamics where you was told to, like, you have to take care of this person. And even though this person didn't take care of themselves,
Wow.
and like, and how being so much to others until you was nothing to yourself. And
Wow.
you were,
How long was this?
so those sessions at that time, those sessions were 16 sessions that we went through.
Wow.
And part of the session was, which was very helpful, and Mother Farmer, you said it earlier, that a part of the session, you had to sit down with your kid at dinner time. So the first part of the session was you had to eat with your family. That was the first thing you did.
Wow.
Wow.
With your
I
family.
love it.
Wow.
And that was the importance of it, was sitting down, eating, and fellowshipping with your family.
Right.
That's excellent. Totally excellent.
And so that was the first part of understanding what was important, eating and fellowshipping and having conversation.
Okay.
Which we know that was a part of our tradition for years, for African Americans. But not just for African Americans, but for other cultures as well. Italians, you know, that's where you made your major decisions. And so when I saw that, I was like, definitely, we need to do that, because I found myself as a pastor, as a father, you know, as, you know, being, you know, dads are the protector, provider, and the connector. Well, I found myself out providing a lot.
I like that.
You know, we needed money. And so oftentimes I had to skip dinner because I was out there trying to make money, trying to provide, which was okay. But the family values that you give happens at the dinner table.
That's right.
And your children and spouse appreciate you more when you are found at the dinner table.
That's right.
At dinner time.
Yeah.
You know, and life gets busy. Don't get me wrong. Life gets busy and things like this, and you rip and run trying to make it. But what it did, it helped me to take out time, specific time, to be home for dinner. You know, and say, you know, and what it did, it gave me a parameter, a cutoff. Because, you know, sometimes when you are a person who think a lot and do a lot, you don't have a cutoff there. It's like the time in the day is, you don't have enough.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's important.
But it did give me a time to say, you know what, this is enough. I need to go home. I'm going home.
That's right.
You know, and
That's
so,
good.
and I learned also within the class, it had me to reevaluate, and I hope this doesn't get me in trouble with anybody, but going to church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that, and I can still be as effective
Oh yeah.
as anybody else. And what it did also, it freed me. That class freed me,
Wow.
and the pandemic freed me.
Wow.
So we have church on Sunday, but I have virtual Bible class.
Okay.
That's good. That's very good.
And we just had a women's weekend during the Father's Day weekend, which was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it wasn't service. It was to really deal with the character of the women. So now what these classes has helped me to do is deal with character. I hope I didn't say too much about that. But from that class, I launched my own Strengthening Families class at Curtis Bay Elementary.
Yeah, I got that. And how is that going?
And so we had 26 families sign up, 17 committed to it. And so we had to make some few changes because our classes are on Mondays, but we're getting ready to shift it because Mondays, it was all of the holidays and it was interrupting our, sessions. But we got 3 more sessions and we will be starting back up in the fall. So we're at Curtis Bay Elementary School.
Okay.
The principal and our relationship through Curtis Bay Elementary, Judy Center. I don't know if you heard of the Judy Center, which deals with kids, and United Way is another partner.
Okay.
United Way supports us. And this is where now we do our my Strengthening Families class.
Well, how long are your sessions? Like an hour, 2 hours?
My sessions are from, at this particular time, it was from 6 to 8. They come in at 6 and they eat their dinner. And then from 6:30 to 8 is the class. And the classes there is a almost like a Socratic seminar kind of. So the person, you read from the book, you have discussions, you find out what's your best practices based upon the knowledge that you get.
Okay.
And one of the things was that I had to learn, which was a strategy for me, because if you don't listen the first time, I'm striking the second. That was me. Because I was the type of person like, okay, such and such, Brooke, I need you to go ahead and do this.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
you hear me? I need you to go take care of this.
Yeah.
And then I asked the second time, oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm coming in there, with the report.
Right.
But what it did was it helped me to talk to my children and not fuss and not strike.
That is so good.
Yeah. And not to and understand them and talk to them.
Yeah.
My children, glory to God, is a piece of work, but I love them.
Most of them, most kids.
No, they're sweet.
them.
They're sweet girls.
Is it a fee for your class,
They're
John?
very respectful. Where was that?
There's a fee for this class?
It is totally free. And we provide the meals.
What?
And we have giveaways. Let me tell you what I've given away. I have given away $50 gift cards, $25 gift cards, toys galore, food, just to bless, because it's supposed to be a support for families.
For families.
That's
How can we
partner
with that?
Is the food home cooked, or you get it from a
The
restaurant?
food, what can I tell you this, Mother Farmer, are you sitting back?
Yeah.
Our food is provided by a celebrity chef that does not cook with sugar, it's sugar or salt.
What?
Wow.
I need to go there. I need to come.
So you are more than welcome to come, and I definitely would. And this is what I want to do, because I want to be able to, and of course, I talked about the interdependency of the church, and people understanding that our churches have to become unapologetic of who we are.
Right.
We do have the answers. Oh, yes, we do. And we have allowed people to tell us that we don't have the answers or make us feel like we coming in and proselytizing and want to save folk, and we coming in and pushing down the walls for Jesus. That is not what we're doing. And especially understanding we want to save, because saving families save communities.
Yeah.
So true.
Saving
So true.
communities
So good.
save cities. And saving cities save states and countries.
Yeah.
So our families need help. I have to say this, and broken families, you know, you have broken communities. That's the opposite. And broken communities, broken cities.
Yeah.
But if we can help save and restore and rehabilitate and reaffirm man and woman. You hear what I'm saying? Man and woman.
Right.
And I don't get, now I'm going to get in trouble for this, and I'm not trying to get y'all show canceled. But a man, it takes a man and a woman to make a child.
Yeah. That's true.
And I will stand on that. And a dysfunctional man and a dysfunctional woman creates a dysfunctional child.
Right. So true.
Right?
So true.
I'm
Very
saying
good.
it.
So true.
I think where we have allowed others to do is say, well, we're only going to help the woman, or we're going to only help the man. No, we got to help them both.
Yeah.
And then rehabilitate them both to, if they're not going to be together, to at least work together to help and support their children.
Child. Yeah. John, how could we partner with you? Like, I know it's at right now is Curtis Bay area. Are you going to extend that to
that
other
is
areas?
my goal. My goal is to, so the team that I'm working with that does the lessons for me is called, I hope they don't get me wrong, because I get it backwards all the time. But it's through Mr. Sam Brown and through Mr. Terrell Wright. It's called Learn It, Live It, Teach It. I think I got it right.
Juan, you write that down? Did you write that down?
No, not yet. Learn it,
live it, and teach. Yeah.
Teach it.
And you say 16 sessions. Is this once a week or every day?
So that the sessions that we are part of, there were 16 sessions, but we only have 10 sessions because we have combined it different. So we have a more updated curriculum than the previous.
But is this every day or once a week?
Once a week on Mondays. But right now we're finishing up on our last 3 classes, and we're doing them 12 in the afternoon because the kids are going to summer school, and so we're having the parents to come in early at 12. So when summer school is over, they can just pick their kids up and take them home at 2:30.
That is so. I would love for Visions Unlimited Ministries to get involved in that, even to do that in the O'Donnell Heights area, and just spread it. Because, go ahead.
No, that is the plan. That is my plan.
Yeah.
To be able to. We did out of the class, and I just have. You all came at a great time. I mean, I don't even know how I forgot. But I got to toot my own horn because the whole thing was, God, if I could just get one parent that would take him. And we finally got a parent say, you know what? I want to teach this class.
Wow.
This class has blessed to me so much. I want to teach it. And so that means that the Learn It, Live It, Teach It group is going to train her. Going to train her. And then she would become a teacher. I still would be the facilitator because I facilitate the program. And then hopefully that she'll be able to establish the parents in that school. Then I can move to the next school, which is our neighbor's school.
Tremendous.
It's awesome, John.
Wow, come on now.
This is amazing.
Well, let me answer your question. So how can you partner? So the part it's not deep, and I'm not even trying to make it deep, and not trying to make it was a passion for me because I saw families struggling, and I knew that they wasn't ready for Jesus yet. Wasn't ready, and sometimes pushing that narrative of giving them Jesus when they're not ready pushes them away. Just pushes them away. And so I know I say, well, you know, some people say, well, you got to come up with a new way of discipling or evangelizing. Well, I was like, well, I saw this program not so much as evangelistical way, but as creating healthy people to balance their mind. So when a discussion came after class about Jesus,
they're ready.
Which it has, they're ready. And I did have people say, where is your church? Now, mind you, I'm not even talking. I'm sitting over in the corner. You know, looking at my clock like I'm waiting for this to be over so I can go home because I'm tired. You know, I want to be with my wife and my kids. But then having somebody, Pastor Watts, where's your church? We ain't mentioned nothing about Jesus. This is sensor-based information. It's about how to, you know, come up with ways of talking to your kids, come up with strategies about using the word love, you know, saying I love you to your child, and then showing action. So these are the things, discussions. And so, and then having them say, Pastor Watts, where's your church? And that's, you know, and then that's like, oh, wow, Lord. You know,
doors open. Yeah.
Like you're doing this, not me. He's doing it.
Yes.
The thing is,
can I say something on that? Pastor John, may I say something on that?
All godly principles. Everything that you're talking about.
They're supposed to come to you and ask you the question. That's how it's initiated in the Bible. You do your thing and they'll ask you.
Yeah.
That's how it was initiated, and that's how I find it. People will come and ask you because of your love.
That's right.
And they will say, I want it, you know, because you don't just initiate it, just your lifestyle initiates it.
Now, what were you saying, Mel?
I was saying that everything that you are doing are godly principles.
Yeah.
So you are showing Jesus, you know, not just saying Jesus, you're showing him.
Exactly.
And a lot of times people push, you know, other people away by, you know, speaking about Jesus or whatever, but you have to live the life. Exactly. And they don't live the life that Jesus lived.
Yeah.
So being an example of what Jesus did, he served the people.
Yeah.
He healed the people. He wasn't throwing God and, you know, down their throats and scriptures and stuff like that. He wasn't doing that. He was just telling them about, you know, these are the principles you should live by. You know, you shouldn't do this because this will harm you. You know what I mean? Things like that. So that's what people will listen to. They will listen to sound advice and sound instruction. And then they'll be, like you said, then they'll be ready. You know, their heart will be softened to hear more because they see that your advice is working for them. And that's what they need. God meets the need a lot of times first before, you know, he's like, be baptized. You need to be saved, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So meet those needs first. So you're doing the right thing. That's the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when Jesus spoke to them, he was relatable. You know, he spoke to them about what they were used to doing. You know, they know how to fish. So he talked to them about fishing. They knew they were farmers. They knew how to grow crops and stuff. So he talked to them about, you know, being a farmer and about, I'm sorry. Exactly. He met them where they were, you know, and then they were asking him other things, you know, like when we live a godly life and we don't have to mention Jesus all the time. Someone say, oh, wow. Well, what church do you go to? You know, without even you telling them you go to church.
It happens, you know, a lot.
They just look at your lifestyle, like Mel was saying earlier.
We've experienced that.
So what were you going to say, John?
No, I was going to say about one of the lessons. I can't remember what they were talking about. And one of the parents mentioned about generational curses. And I had one of my pastors there. And I'm going to tell you, they were just kind of talking, and one of my pastors kind of told her testimony about how she stopped her generational curse. And I'm going to tell you, after that, it was like a breeze came in that room. I was like, uh-oh, somebody's here. I was like, somebody's here. And I just was like, oh my God. And one of the parents' eyes kind of tears welled up.
Yeah.
After that, and I never, mind you, I never said nothing. You know, I might have made a comment, but it wasn't nothing like, you know, I might have made a comment. But that's when they was like, where's your church? And I was like, I can't talk to you all because that's not what this is supposed to be about, you know. And they kept asking. So that person, it's 5:04. You need to go there because, you know, and this is what it's all about. So I feel like, and as Melanie said, you know, about meeting people's needs. And without getting emotional, y'all know, I feel like many of our churches are missing this moment.
I know.
There's a moment of, and the other thing is, they're missing this moment, and they're missing a person like me. And I hear them talking like, what should we be doing? Because church can't go back church as usual.
Right.
And I'm not the ones to be on their platform of what's the next move. And I'm like, y'all don't even realize that it's in the streets. It's in the suitcases.
Golden opportunity.
It's really there. And I'm seeing and having someone text me, and I gotta, Lord, I hope they're not watching because I haven't even responded yet. But they wanted to make me a peace ambassador, and I'm like, Lord, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know if I'm worthy of that. You know, the scripture says, follow peace with all men.
And holiness.
And holiness without
no man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm finally coming into myself. And if y'all don't mind me, and this is where my heart passion is, because, you know, I worked in a school system where they wanted to throw these boys out of school, basically. You know, they wreaking havoc. They causing a whole lot of problems. And I say, you give me all the boys that you all don't want. I remember Pastor Bryce saying that, and I said that to them in a meeting. And I took these boys, worked with them Monday through Friday, picked them up on Saturday. This is about 6, 7 years ago. Picked them up on Saturday, spent my personal money.
Yeah.
And this is before I had a program. And then picked them up for church on Sunday.
Wow.
So I was with these kids 7 days a week by the permission of my wife, thank God, and my kids that understood. And these boys never been to church, never been out their community. I remember taking them to restaurants. They didn't know how to order off of a menu, never been out of their community. And by doing that, you know, and seeing the change, and then taking them to church on a Sunday, and how one time, and this was after several times, the Holy Spirit, I watched Holy Spirit move upon them. Just on them. The same boys that they did not want in the educational system. So being a behavior support specialist, so my job was to be able to look at their behaviors and then cause them to and create a space for restoratives. Because restorative is restorative is what the world say, but restorative really is forgiving and create a space for them to mess up and to restore them and to forgive them to start back over and creating this space of having the opportunity to give them, a multiple choice.
Yeah.
Of making the right decision.
That's amazing, John.
Yeah. And then guiding them. So I started that and taking that stuff that I knew was working for me. And then I came up with Young Black Scholars Institute.
Wow.
But it didn't start off as Young Black Scholars Institute. It started off with me taking a group of boys and trying to figure out how I was going to keep them from being kicked out of school.
Yeah.
They were going to get kicked out and then being locked up.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So do you have a specific age of these boys you're working with?
Yes. So from the ages of 13 to 18, which I might make it younger now, because it seems like the system and the devil is working with a little bit younger.
The younger ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did sign on to start something on the 4th grade level. On the 4th grade level at Curtis Bay, we're still working out the details. And then starting from 4th grade, and then because it's 4th grade and 5th grade, it's really 4th grade is when young Black boys start kind of
feeling themselves,
acting out,
feeling themselves, making decisions that's not good. So I would say make positive decisions.
Right.
And usually 4th grade, by the time they get 5th grade, they either have fallen off the wagon or potentially might, but they're still getting good grades. And then by the time they get to 6th grade, middle school, a lot of stuff shifts.
Yeah. What about the parents? How about their parents?
How receptive?
Yeah, did they play a part in what you were doing?
Say that one more time.
Those parents, were they interactive?
Well, it depends. So I started in 6th grade. So most of the times when the kids get in 6th, 7th grade, parents, middle school, they don't.
They like take them.
Talk about this
That's true, Mal. That has happened before. I've seen it.
Well, yeah. So typically, what happens? Well, what we would say in the educational field, making fun. The parents are part of the kids' life, first pre-K or kindergarten, 1st grade through 5th grade. They are there. They get to middle school. It's like the parents drop them off. Wow. And like, y'all have them.
Yep.
And then we'll pick them back up when they get home. And then they pick back up when they get to high school. And then, and then graduation, everybody's happy.
Right.
But middle school is definitely what it is, middle school.
Yeah.
And the kids don't know who they are, don't know who they want to be. They want to be a kid, and then they want to be a teenager at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's a great restorative time because this is the way you find out where kids really come into who they are, and they got to be guided. And so this is where I think educationally, where educational system needs to change. When I say Socratic seminar. So Socratic seminar is where the teacher, they don't teach, they guide the lesson. So you build the skills in the kid to be able to read or get that particular lesson and skill, and then you facilitate the lesson.
Facilitate it.
So can you give us an example of that?
Sure. So you give a kid a passage, and so whatever that skill, you have to build that skill, and I'm talking about reading now. So first of all, how you build it is, which our westernized school system has set, not everybody, because I know urban schools and stuff have learned this, but sometimes the suburban schools have not. You find something that kids like to read. You don't give them Romeo and Juliet, expect them, they're going to be into it.
Right.
Find something that kids like or want to know about. Then you build that skill. Mother Farmer Properties, I'm sure as you know. Then you get them, if they want to read about, hypothetically, Cardi B. You know, Cardi B. Everybody know Cardi B, you know, as an entertainer.
Right.
You know, if the kids like her, then you find something about her to read about. And then you use your measuring and your skills, build up that kid's skills. And then what you do is, tell me something that you like about Cardi B that you like. Oh, I like this, or she's this, and she's this. Well, tell me this. And then whatever that rubric is, or that outcome should be, you use that, because now the kids are engaged in that lesson.
Yeah,
you have engage them through their likes, through they want, and you have facilitated the conversation. And now, you know, and this is something new that I learned as well about reflection. Write something down that you personally got out of it. You know, you got out of it. And that's some of the things that, and sometimes kids, you know, well, I ain't getting nothing out of it. And that's their reflection. And then some kids might say, hey, well, I learned this, that this and this, you know, and those are the things that I feel like that has helped my boy as well. I had a reading program that I took a group of Black boys, and there were some urban books that I found, and I had once a week, I had them reading during their lunchtime.
Okay.
And so I had an unofficial group that I wanted to name them Black Boys Do Read.
Wow.
But I know that wasn't going to fly. So
not in the school system.
But it's still in my heart. Because Black boys do read.
Yeah.
If you create something, an appetite for them. And there was a book that I found called Blueford Series. So write that down. It's called Blueford Series. It's a series of books about Black and brown kids and about everyday life. Somebody's brother got shot, you know, at the playground.
Yeah.
And I'll make this very quick because I know we got to go. So I heard these kids talking about this in Georgia. Somebody getting shot at the playground. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Somebody got shot. Who got shot? And they, because such and such got shot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, did y'all tell y'all mother? And the whole group of kids started laughing. They was cracking up. And I said, what's going on? What y'all talking about? They was like, no, Mr. Watts, it's a series of books.
Wow.
And I brought those same books and got them to have the kids to read them in Maryland. And they do work. It's called Blueford Series.
Blueford Series, huh? Okay. Wow, isn't that something?
Is that a borderline critical race series? Is that borderline? That's
No, just definitely not. No, critical race. No, this is just some books about everyday life that kids, you know, whoever wrote the books. That one day, one girl got pregnant and she was scared to tell her father. Y'all can read these books. She was scared to tell her father. Another book was this boy. I think they moved him from California to Detroit, Michigan, and they had to stay there with their cousins. And their cousin, the boy cousin, robbed the corner store, and he knew about it.
Wow.
So this stuff they can relate to. This happens in their community and within their family.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just experiences that they've been through. That's what
that's all it is.
Yeah. And they can relate to.
Question? Because I feel like I don't talk a whole lot.
No, that's good. We were talking about that scholarship. We wanted you to talk more about that anyway, because we already talked about the strengthening of the families. We wanted you to talk about Young Black Scholars Institute and stuff. And so you were hitting on that. And I know you were talking about a testimonial of how well are the kids doing, like in your program? Do you follow them like from
my God.
to high school to college, or so what are you?
Absolutely. So one of my young kids, he's not young anymore, that I've been 6 years in his life, he got married. He is expecting. They're expecting a baby, and they have their baby shower. And he was one of my, we call them high flyers. He was one of my high flyers. He didn't make it through middle school. Well, he didn't make it through high school. Then he had to go to Aberdeen to the the military school. Didn't make it through there. He was just having some problems. But I knew from when I first met this kid and I met with the school system that he was not a kid that should be in that environment, in a school environment. I said, he's smart. Let him take the test. Guess what happened?
What?
He took the GED test and passed in flying colors.
Wow.
Passed in flying colors. Went and got a job. He's working, providing for his family.
Wow.
And my other course, Darius, you know about Darius, which is my nephew. His mom and dad died in his 11th grade year. And of course, they were saying all kinds of stuff. He's not going to make it. He's this, he's that, just, things, how things happen. He graduated this year.
He sure did. Yay, Darius. Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then my other guy, and I'm waiting, I got several more that need to graduate, but this guy's named Kenyon. Kenyon was from Jamaica, brand new kid. One of the administrators brought him into my room and say, hey, Mr. Watts, do you think he could eat lunch in here with you? I said, sure. I would talk to him every day. He was super quiet, did not have no social skills, really, just super quiet. Had some few things going on, in his family life, and I'm not going to share with that. But again, consistency breeds success. And all our kids need is support. And again, it takes a village to raise a kid. So it wasn't just me. He was part of several programs, but I had him the most. Praise the Lord. I had him in the school way. But anyway, but he told me he wanted to go into the military. Of course, I wasn't feeling it. I was like, no. Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to do the Marines. I really wasn't feeling it. The Marines, I was like, that means they're going to send you in there first. No. And so I said, well, if that's what you're going to do, I support you and I'm going to pray, whatever. He took the test, must have scored off the charts until he doesn't even have to do field. He's going into the intelligence department, and I'm just elated. But I say this: these were kids that people gave up on.
Yeah.
And this is why, we can't give up on people.
Right.
And we can't give up on young people. Because eventually, if you create a way, they will find their way through it,
Yeah.
And I told my wife, and I was hard on these boys. My wife knows I was hard on them in a way but I was loving. I was supporting.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all this, they probably going to get me. They was off the chain. I got to say this, because this is all to the glory of God.
Yeah.
They were so off the chain, they would do everything. And I'm just going to say this. So hear me going to take them to the mall, because I said, I got to be able to trust y'all. So I had the van loaded up. We was coming after church. So I'm saying, okay, we came after church. They should be all right.
Right. Right.
We took them, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
I took them to the mall. And I got to say this because, as a matter of fact, we were coming back. We had to go back to second service.
Okay.
So I took them in between. So this is it, and I'm making short. So I came out. So we coming out of the mall. I'm coming back, and I'm looking. I was like, oh, hey, y'all at the van already? Okay, all right, let's go. So I get in the van, I start driving, and the Holy Ghost kicked in, mother father. I'm telling you, this is no lie.
Wow.
The Holy Ghost kicked in, and I looked in the rearview mirror. I said, God, y'all done did something. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. So they eyes, but I'm going to tell you, their eyes was big like that. They looking like this. I said, something. And then I told one of the young men, I'm telling you exactly. I said, why that jacket? That jacket is blinding me. What is going on with that jacket? Not knowing that they stole the jacket.
Wow, you had Holy Ghost eyes.
But this is funny. This is funny. And I got to say this is funny because when I got to church, of course, I was up there leading. You know, I would say, yeah, and God got all seeing eyes. You even see when you wear something that you wasn't supposed to be wearing. So they are hollering, they are laughing, they're falling out. But let me tell you what came after that. And I'm going to say this to you, what came after that. And I'm so glad that I trusted them because I never stopped taking them to the mall after that.
Okay.
And you know, the more I took them, the more things changed.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
You know, and every kid needs to feel accepted and feel loved and supported.
Yeah.
Now I could have roasted them and you did get, but I never did that. And every kid got to feel like that they good at something, that they're accomplished. And I can tell you, most of those boys, and I know this to be, they work hard for their money. They got jobs. And that's all I'm going to say on it. It was funny the way that happened, but I have never had to worry about anything else like that afterwards.
Wow.
You know, and the other thing is, what came real to them was that there is a spirit world, which I had.
Yeah, they saw it.
Yep, he didn't even believe in Jesus, and I'll tell you, you know that. And I told him, I said, that's between you and Jesus. I ain't got time for this. What time you want me to pick you up? And that's what I did.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
So John, do they have to, like, if people wanted to go to be a part of your program, do they have to be at Curtis Bay or how?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, I picked up as far as downtown. The kid went to Mervo. And we picked them up.
Okay.
I had the van to go get them, and once we got to, I do Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, and Baltimore City.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Anybody that feel like that they really, their kid need. I'm not a babysitter. We're not babysitting.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you really feel like your child wants support and want to be taken out of the community, because that's the whole part of it. To learn to be in a different environment. So I can tell you some of the things that I do have in the program that's coming up.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, I have some college tours that's coming up. I have some, of course, you know, fishing. We are partnership with Baltimore Brothers. Baltimore Brothers does our boys and men training. That's at the Oliver Center. At the Oliver Center on the east side. We are connected, of course, with United Way. We're connected with Kebulon Shule. Kebulon Shule, her name is Monica Lindsay. They do a rites to passage where they teach a pre-history of African and African-American people and the success of African. And then one of the trips that we hopefully to take out of this is to the transatlantic slave tour in Ghana.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So these are the partnership, of course. We partnership with Safe Streets in Brooklyn. Safe Streets in Brooklyn with Corey Winfield.
What's the address of one in Brooklyn? What's that address in Brooklyn?
It's Safe Street.
5 Patapsco Avenue. Safe Streets is an organization that does violent reduction. And so they did a couple of our training classes as well. And so, you know, so we partnership with definitely different organizations that provide different, you know, supports for young scholars. Also, of course, we go on fishing. We're supposed to do horseback riding in PG County. And also they're part of yacht clubs, a black yacht club.
Wow. That's exciting.
That is crazy.
You can take just a person that's not connected. Like you have young boys like in the street, you know, that's not connected, not in the street, but they have nothing to do during the summer. They're not connected with
anybody that's willing.
Anybody.
Part of
Get your child on that bus. Get those bad boys, get those bad high children on the bus. Let's reform them.
They're not bad. They're boring.
Let's reform
and
them.
some of them are misunderstood.
Yeah.
They're not bad.
I was just kidding.
Thank you, Tawanda.
I was just kidding.
I know you were. You know, I don't call any of the bad. You know, a couple of kids I said, you know what? You know, in education, we never say that a kid is bad. You know, we never say that. And I told this one kid, I said, you know, you was bad. He fell out laughing. I was like, oh my God, you was bad. You let the devil use you, and you had a good time letting the devil use you. I said, but look at you now. Look, you so what? You're a young man.
What? Yes.
I said, Lord have mercy. But you know, it's great because kids are misunderstood.
Yeah.
They are little people. They are little people.
They are.
And so I hope that my give back with them is to support them and that they become to be great, productive citizens, family people, you know, and just support, you know, the things that they do. So, but can I say this? It is free, but my program is not free.
Okay.
It takes a whole lot of money.
I know.
And at this point in my life, you know, I have funded this the best way I could. And right now I'm at a little halt because I'm waiting on some funding. And and I'm up for an interview for one of the partners. And so it does take money. So if there's anybody out there that would love to support young Black scholars,
invest in it. How can they get in touch with you, John, to invest in it?
You can. I have a Givelify. If you got Givelify, just type in Young Black Scholars Institute. It'll go straight into our account, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. You know, that's the only thing I have right now is Young Black Givelify. But definitely, you know, if you want to send, you can always send a check to the church and YBSI in the care of, you know, Young Black Scholars Institute, to 504 Annabelle Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21225. We definitely need support. I need some sponsors in some trade show equipment, you know, like the tablecloth and stuff, so we can actually start really getting back out there. We did a lot during the pandemic, and my boys, if you go on my Facebook page, you can see the stuff that we did. They came through during the pandemic. Them boys worked. They worked during the pandemic. And but you know, as life goes, you know, we need money. We need money.
And see, go ahead.
But would you qualify for the CFC? Melanie, we used to work that combined federal. Is that too difficult to get into? The combined federal?
I don't think so. They just have to go online.
Yeah, because we used to work it. I worked it at my job, but Melanie was one of the lead ones that had different people to, you know.
And the thing about it, this is the kind of stuff that should be on the news, like Fox. They show all this crazy stuff. But why not show these organizations that's trying to help people and then reach out and get sponsors? You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's they almost want them to fail.
If you go to CFC, you'll get periodical forms, you know, people funds. And different ones will sign up for what they get, like monthly or whatever.
Yeah. What were you going to say, John?
And I have, so I've wrote several grants. So I got 3 that I'm hoping that will come through for the fall.
Okay.
Definitely, I got to write up for another one for it to strengthen the family. So but I don't ever want to be, it's the summertime, and so I just don't like that my boys are not active, and not active during the summer.
Right.
So, but I believe God is gonna, He's gonna touch somebody's heart. He's gonna touch somebody's heart.
Yeah, we're gonna touch and agree with you.
And I got the evidence. I got the outcomes. I have the plan, and I know that God is gonna make it. And I have the proof. Ooh, I like that, a preach.
I'm taking it. I'm just kidding.
And the proof, honey. I got it. And so I'm happy that this came up at this time, because I got a chance to talk about Young Black Scholars Institute. We're doing it. And yes, I want to expand. And yes, I want to have partners. Yes, I want them to come on this show and to talk about their life, and that we have talked about.
Yeah, we like it.
I want, to be able to let people know that, we do got programs in Baltimore that's really helping.
Right.
I'm not just Baltimore, because I'm Anne Arundel County as well. That's helping.
Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the problem.
And so, John, are you trying to get on? Like, we got 4 more minutes. So, did you reach out to the news stations though, like Channel 11 and Fox? And
no, I have not.
So you probably need to.
Maybe I do.
And so they can do a story on you, and then especially talk to those guys that graduated, the one who got married, and all that kind of stuff. If you put something out like that, and someone's looking at you, they will probably sponsor you.
Hey, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I do need to do that.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of millionaires out there. They do help.
They want to give money. They wait.
Absolutely, especially when they see someone doing something. So
Cheryl Crandall, remember Cheryl Crandall? She's on here. She was like, "Hello, beautiful people," and then she gave us some parts. Yep, go ahead.
Melanie got me cracking up over here, because I'm looking at her face. It was like you trying to say something about Mel.
No, I mean, it's just all good. I just wish and hope that other pastors get on board with this, because this is, like you said, this is the true meaning of pastoring.
Yeah.
What you're doing behind those 4 walls.
Yeah.
Teaching your people that's already saved, that ain't it.
Yeah.
You got to go out to the people, to the lost, to the dying, the people that are struggling, the people that are in need. So
look, Melanie,
I just hope and I pray that other pastors grab a hold of this vision, and also to support and partner with you.
Yeah.
What I want to say, Mel, like you're singing, y'all sing to each other. They would like that singing. You need whatever you have. It's a gift, not just pastors, but you all have ministry.
That's what I said. I was saying not only pastors, but ministry. It's ministry.
I was saying pastors, because Pastor John is a pastor, and other pastors need to come together with other pastors. That's my point I was making. Okay. I'm not just talking about the gifts that we all have. I'm talking about the people that's in those positions.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of pastoring. That's
so we just want to thank everybody, for coming on out. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Chilling with the Girls. And our guest, my heart, oh my goodness, John Watts. Oh my goodness, been knowing him for years. John, I am so proud of you, because you always talked about going to your church. You always talked about what you wanted to do and how church looked like, to you, even before the pandemic. And just to see you doing that, it's amazing.
Commendable.
Yes, we're going to keep you in our prayers and everything. Absolutely. We do want to partner with you with our ministry. What is it called? Visions Unlimited Ministries. Yeah, we definitely want to partner with you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me, and thank you, Mother Farmer. Thank you, Tawanda. Thank you, Tish, for just
absolutely
be part.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. Y'all not going to believe my computer went black again, so I can't end it in the session.
Okay.
No way.
I cannot see anything at all.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, we're back. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to Chilling with the Girls, and we will see y'all next week. Bye.
Love y'all. God bless.